All right. So what I'm going to talk about today is automations and creating custom websites for your business with the idea of this is for buyers and sellers that need information and I want to wow them. So a little bit about me. My hometown is Louisville, Kentucky. It's Louisville. It's not Louisville. It's not Louisville. It's Louisville, Kentucky. You can always tell if someone's a local based on how they say that word. We moved, my husband and and our children, we moved to Arizona in 2018, and I was a teacher. And I had my real estate license, and I was like, I'm going to do real estate part-time. And that is a joke because when you have a full-time job and then you have your real estate license, what you truly have is two full-time jobs. Fast forward a couple years and COVID happened, and we have four children. They are 21, 20, 18, and a 9-year-old. And my oldest daughters really struggled with being virtual. And so I told my husband, I'm like, hey, you know what? I have this real estate license. I think maybe I should just go full time with you because he's a full time licensed agent. And he was like, absolutely not. He's like, we need your insurance, we need your steady income, all these things. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, well, I didn't like that answer. So that night I went to bed and I prayed and I said, God, look, I'm going to let you guide this decision. If it's meant to be, I know that you're going to give me like a huge, like, I will know that this is a good idea. And in the next 2 months, he quadrupled his production. He went from having 2 listings to having 8. We closed 21 transactions in 1 month. I do not encourage that at all because that was a super, super crazy time. But basically what it did was it gave us the trust and the faith that me leaving education, going into real estate was going to be okay. So 2022, I hung up my hat. Or actually 2021, I hung up my hat, got into real estate full time, and I've loved it for parts. We run a team here locally. We have 23 agents. When we were at our previous brokerage, KV Core was the CRM that we used. So I became an expert on KV Core and became a national trainer for that. Now that I'm over at Real, we are rocking lofty, and wow, I didn't know what I didn't know. I really think that I love lofty more. So I'm hoping to get to a point where I feel like I have enough knowledge that I can pour into agents the same way that I did for KV Core. On my DISC assessment, I always tell people I'm a DCI, so I like to be in charge. I like to be around people, but I also like things to run very efficiently. I'm kind of like a bull in a china shop. I like to be the person that kind of runs the thing. So that's just my personality. But basically, I built my business and my real estate business on automations, email marketing, and social media. I was not a person that was going to do open houses. I don't like doing open houses, especially by myself. As a smaller female, I feel like it's a super dangerous situation that I could put myself in. Also, most open houses are on the weekend. And coming from the world of teaching, I'd never worked on the weekends. I didn't really want to work on the weekends now, especially for 4 hours. And I have to run across streets and put up signs, and they're heavy, and I'm going to get calluses all. I just didn't want to do it. Door knocking, not going to do it. Again, I do not like when people come knock on my door. I don't want to go knock on a stranger's door. So there was all these different things that I was like, nope, I don't want to do that. Nope, I don't want to do that. Cold calling. I will say this, in my first 6 months of real estate, full time, I closed 8 transactions. 4 of those were converting FSBOs into listings. So I don't mind cold calling for sale by owners. And I know that sounds crazy, but I know they're probably not going to want to talk to me. So I don't get my feelings hurt. But if I'm cold calling other people, that gets me a little antsy. So what I had to do is I had to create a business based on the things that I actually like doing. Hi, Latoya. So this was the one thing that I love to tell people is, don't be afraid to delegate. Based on my DISC assessment, I'm not really good at delegating. I like to be in charge of everything. That's just my personality, because if I tell my kids to vacuum their room, they're probably not going to do it the way that I want it to be done. So I'm like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to do it myself because I'm going to have to do it anyway. And now I don't have to clean the vacuum filter out. But what I found was that automations can make the process easier and it frees up time for me. So a quick story time on how this all started. I got extremely busy in real estate, like we all do, because the rates were so low. I was showing multiple houses to multiple buyers every single day, and it never failed. The moment we left the house, there was an offer on the house and it was more than ours. And so I was just spinning my wheels. I got to a point where I was making good money. Like I was actually doing the thing, but I hated it. Um, we are a blended family. I am also the youngest of three children, and my parents are in their 80s. So, like, my parents are the age of my husband's grandparents, and they live in Kentucky. And I went back home and I was on my computer the whole time, and I'm like on the phone FaceTiming with a showing agent who's in Arizona showing my buyer. And I finally got off the phone, and my mom said, "Are you even gonna like spend time with us?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm here." And she's like, "You're not here. You're on your phone, you're doing work. Like, why can't you just be off?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't. Like, I can't be off. I have to like be on all the time, or like my buyer's not going to get the house, or like I'm not going to get the listing, or like I'm not going to have all this stuff." And I started getting so overwhelmed that I was on the verge of a mental breakdown. I hated real estate. Buyers were all liars in my book. They all wanted to buy a $500,000 house and they couldn't even afford like the trailer in Casa Grande. Like it sellers, everyone thought that their house was worth $1 million, and no one was willing to listen to the professional stager who said, "Hey, maybe 7 shades of yellow isn't the best to showcase your house." Like I was just, every single time I was trying to do something, I was getting hit by something that was just like, "This is stupid. I should just put my license in inactive and just go back to teaching." Because at least in the classroom, I knew when I left, I could be off. Like I could literally grade papers whenever I wanted to. So this is what I did. Let's do an experiment real quick. Okay. And I don't know how many are gonna, please play along. Okay. I came from the world of teaching where like the kids play along. So play along. Okay. First things first, scan that QR code and it's going to take you to my Instagram page. So I told you in the beginning, social media is my thing. A little bit of a background on that. We moved to Arizona from Kentucky. We talked funny, and people had preconceived notions of what my husband and I were. We are not related. We are not cousins. And yes, I wear shoes pretty much all the time. Okay. So I didn't have a sphere of influence, and people didn't really trust me because I didn't sound like they did. Even though in Arizona, nobody talks like they're from here because no one's from here unless like you're a unicorn. But anyhow, so scan that code, hit the follow on my social media, especially if we're not friends. And because I love to connect with new people, and I promise I'll follow you all back. And then I want you to go to any post on anything on my feed and comment the word buyer. And I'm going to put my hands up right here so that way you can see I'm not doing anything. There's no magic afoot. And then say, "Did it," after you finished. And unless you have like loud dogs or a loud child, you can totally keep unmuted. It doesn't bother me at all.
So I'm like watching this on my phone, so I'm not sure how to like
Oh, okay.
stand.
Okay. If you can go into Instagram, my handle is just Jackie Durbin AZ. But if you want to do it later, it's totally fine. All right. So anybody who's done it on their phone, tell me what happened.
I don't know. Like I don't know. I put buyer, but it didn't say anything. So I
Did
don't
you
know if I
put
did.
it on any of the posts?
Yep, I sure did.
You sent me something in my messenger, or something came to me in my messenger.
Yes. Okay. So what came in the messenger?
Buying a home is the most exciting, like, what is it? Oh, buyer website. Oh, it's a website.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that I found was that I need to find people who are raising their hand. I can cold call, I can do all the open houses, I can door knock, I can do all that stuff. My thing is, I need to find people who want to raise their hand because they're thinking about buying a home. So Candy, I'm not sure why it didn't work.
Actually, it did. Sorry, it
Okay,
did. I didn't get the
I
message.
was kind of
Yep.
having a little bit of a panic attack. I was sweating. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So what I found was when I first started my business, I would go to open houses as just someone to go and check out the open house. I would go to new builds and take video content of the new builds, because who doesn't love a new build? Like, it's a house that doesn't even look lived in. Like, I'm like, where are the children who are making the mess? And I would create all this video content and I would put it on my social media. I would put it on my story. I would make a reel. I would do all these different things. And what I would find is lots of people were like, wow, I really like this house. And they would comment that. And then I would have to comment back to them. And I'm like, well, this is a lot. And then I'd have to figure out what I was going to send to them. So everything that just happened, you notice my hands were up. I did none of it. That's my very first automation. So I did this automation through, hang on, why is it not moving? Through ManyChat. ManyChat is the best investment, and I'm not a spokesperson for them. I get no money from ManyChat. I would love for them to give me money because I pay them every month like $12.99 for my subscription. But basically what ManyChat does is it connects your social media. Mine is through my Instagram, and I create these automations that automatically go out. So let me see if this will work. It did. Yay. I'm so excited. I still got it. Okay. So this is my ManyChat profile, and you'll notice that I have the professional version. What that means is I can create as many of these automations as I want, and I can make it where it's on any of my posts. So remember, I told you, you can do this on any of my posts, not just a single one. On the regular version, I think you can only pick like a certain post, but I'm like, I want people to be able to type this word anywhere. So right here, this was the one that you all did. Okay, so notice it said that the comment was buyer. So what I had done, and you'll actually probably get messages again, was I said, hey, I want anytime when someone types the word buyer, I want this message to go into their inbox. So on their inbox, I'm going to make this bigger because I can't see. It just says, buying a home is the most exciting and scary thing that you can do in your life. For the last 6 years, I've been helping home buyers like yourself in this process. Okay, so right now I'm relatable. Okay, I get it. This is exciting. But guess what? It's also scary as hell because this is the biggest thing you're ever going to buy. Okay, unless like you're doing infertility, and that's very expensive too for children. Okay, so I said, I pride myself in being knowledgeable, efficient, and always there for my clients. Using my expertise, I will guide you in this process and ensure that we negotiate the best price. Take a few minutes, check out my buyer's website. It's linked below to learn a bit more about me and the process of buying a home. If you have any questions, please reach out. Here's my phone number. Here's my email. Okay, so that all went into your direct messages. Now, underneath where you said buyer, ManyChat should have done an auto comment for me that said like, check out your DMs, or a message was just sent to you or something like that. So I just took away at least 5 minutes of every single person who commented on my social media. I didn't have to comment back, because what do we really comment, right? Thank you so much. Like, it's always something stupid and random, right? It's never personable. So on my comments, I can say I can make them personable. I could say, thank you so much for reaching out. I love helping first-time home buyers and also empty nesters buying a home. I can't wait to get in contact with you. I can make my comments be whatever I want, and it's not the same one. I can pick like 10 different comments, so that way each time it's something different. So it seems like it's authentic to this new follower who found me on social media. Now, the other thing that you'll notice is I have, move over thing. Hang on. All right. The other thing that you'll notice is I have other automations, right? So we all kind of learned probably, or we're learning in our business. I can't just send someone one message and think that, okay, now I'm their agent. I thought that for a little bit. I was like, but I showed you a house. What do you mean you called your cousin's brother's ex-wife? Like, I don't understand that. Do you even like them? So what I had to do was I had to create other ways to continue the conversation. So 24 hours, they get this message. Were you able to check out my buyer website? Do you have any questions? Okay. Also, I can make that very specific. So I could say, were you able to check out my buyer website? Buying a home in Arizona in the summer is kind of hot. If we're going to go look at houses, I encourage us only look to maybe 3 a day, just because you're going to be sweaty. And some of the houses may be vacant, or I can make it whatever. Then there's another message that'll come into there. Here's the link to my calendar. Let's set up a time to chat about what buying a home looks like in the current market. And then you'll notice, just like this had the buyer website link, and look, it says, click to respond, 75% of you. So of the however many people who actually did the buyer link, some of you actually clicked on the website to see what that looked like. I get to see those rates. So I know what is working and what's not immediately. Then I've got my calendar right here. So that's going to go to my calendar. So let me show you how you make these, because they're super easy. And I learned everything from YouTube. Okay, guys, like I'm a lifelong learner. So if I go into ManyChat and I have this, I'm going to say, okay, I want to make a new automation. When I click new automation, you can have all of these. I just like to start from scratch. I don't like to use AI on this, only because I don't want AI to remind me that it's smarter than me sometimes. So I want to go ahead and start from scratch. And this is what pops up. This is basically like the blueprint. So I'm going to click on this. This is a trigger. So just like in in your CRMs, like if like there's an event or a date, or hey, this is a new lead from this, and like it starts like that smart campaign, this is the same idea. So I'm going to say a trigger, and I'm going to say, okay, I want to add a new trigger. Notice this is on my Instagram. So when I first logged in, I attached my my social media with it. So I'm going to say, this is the new trigger. So it's going to say, if they click on an ad, which I don't want to do that. If they comment on a reel or a post, if they reply to your story, if they use so there's all these different ones that you can have. Okay. So I'm going to say, if the user comments on a post or a reel, and then it's going to say, okay, which one do you want them to comment on? Well, I go down here and I say all of them. Because just because I have one cool video of a new build, or like a blue tape walkthrough, or hey, check out my new listing. If my keyword's buyer, guess what? If they type buyer on any of my stuff, I want them to automatically get this. So I'm going to say all of them. And then I hit continue. And then it's like, okay, what's the keyword? Okay. So you're going to pick a keyword. I would not use a phrase. Learn by my mistakes. So I also do a retreat for women in real estate one time a year up in Pine Top, and it's called the Rewire Retreat. So I put my keywords were the Rewire Retreat. Well, guess what happened? When somebody just typed Rewire, they didn't get it. If they just typed retreat, they didn't get it. And if they wrote Rewire Retreat, they didn't get it because they left out the. So just make it one simple word. So on this one, I'm going to say, okay, the comment word is seller. I'm going to click over here. You can add other keywords. So like a lot of times I would always say like, okay, how might someone misspell this? So like real estate, I always type all the different ways that people like they'll leave out the other T or like whatever. So I'm going to say, okay, continue. Here are, would you like to set up public replies in the feed? So now I don't have to reply to all these people who say buyer. I can put whatever I want. So I could say, send the link over, done. The link is in your DMs, sent. Please check your DMs. I don't like to use emojis, but whatever, everybody has their own thing. So I'm just going to I can type in whatever I want. That's amazing. The link is in your DMs. So excited for your home selling journey. Check your DM for the link. Yay. Love helping homeowners. And I can pick as many as I want. So I always tell people, keep in mind, people always look at the comments, right? Like if I'm looking at a video, I'm going to be like, ooh, what are the comments? So if they see that like there's 12 people who replied and just process of elimination, there's going to be like 3 or 4 of just that as the response, I would add more because it's going to randomly put those on there. Okay. But you can add as many as you want. All right. Once you're finished, then you just hit save. And it's got all of my stuff and it says it's saved. So now my trigger is good. It knows that if anyone types seller on any post or any reel on my Instagram, they're going to send these comments to them. But now I want to put something in their DM. So now I'm going to click on this button. So notice it says, when this happens, then do this. So now I can put in my comment that's going to go into their direct message. Okay. So thank you so much for reaching out and wanting to know more about selling your home. Please use the link below to access my selling a home website. This will offer tips and suggestions for you to get top dollar on your home. Talk soon, Jackie. All right, and then it says add a button. You only need to add a button if you want to give them a link. Okay, so if you have a seller website, which I do, I'm going to say, okay, I want this to be a website. So I'm going to send them to my website. I'm going to change the button. Instead of it saying new button number 1, I'm going to say selling a home website. Oh, it doesn't like that. Okay, we're just going to say selling a home. All right, then I'm going to put in my URL. I think it's selling a home. I think that's the right one. Pause while I make sure that this is the right one. Is it selling or is it just sell? It's just sell your home. See, like I would have made a mistake. All right, so sell your home. All right, so I'm going to hit done. All right, once I finish that, I need to go ahead and set this live. So if you'll do me a favor, if you go to any of my, it doesn't matter what post it is, if you go to any of them and you type the word, I think seller was our trigger. Yep, seller was our trigger word. This is going to pop into your DM. So let's say that you have a good relationship with a lender, okay? And the lender that you're working with now there's new down payment assistance programs. That's a great resource for people, okay? And I know what you're thinking, but Jackie, sellers don't need a lender. No, but sellers are buyers. They're selling their home and they want to buy a home. So a lot of people are like, I don't want to sell my house. My rate's so great. And please don't be that person that says date the rate, marry the house. I want to just like smack those people. Like, yeah, but how long are you dating? Like, eventually there should be a marriage. Okay. So I don't say things like that. So I always tell people, look, I know you don't want to sell your house. And I know why you don't want to sell your house. You don't want to go buy a house because interest rates are higher. And right now you're sitting at like a 2% interest rate. Yeah, I get it. Listen to this conversation that I'm having with my lender, someone who's an expert in this industry. So now when I say that, I say, you know what, if you're interested in any information on selling your home, comment seller down below. They comment seller, they get this information. And now I have all their stuff. If I want to add more automations, then I totally can. So let me go back to where I was. All right, so that's ManyChat. ManyChat is my jam and you can't break it. I've tried, okay? Oh, I want to show you this. So if I go back to my home, I can go to my automations and it shows all of my automations. So this is the one that I just did. Thank you for doing that one. So this one was a buyer seller guide. So I create buyer and seller guides that are customized for agents. And so I put guide as my thing. I had 16 people. So if I click on this, it's going to tell me it was sent 16 times to 16 unique contacts, meaning someone didn't put it in there twice. I didn't collect any emails. I didn't get any phone numbers, but I'm totally fine with that. But look, of the 16 that were sent, it was delivered to everybody and 75% of them opened it. So they're reading my message. So that tells me, hey, this worked. And half of the people clicked it. Okay, then that means what I was giving them, the value that I was providing and the stuff that I had in my, my direct message was something that they wanted to see. Most people were reading the buyer guide. So maybe I'm going to do this one again and make it, instead of guide, make it guides, and then put my seller guide before, because maybe they were clicking on this one because it was the first one. So I can always go back and make those changes, but on each and every one of my automations, it's going to give me my click response. It sent it to 4 people, 100 people opened it. This was the one that we just did. If I go back to my automations, and they all stay on here. Now you'll notice this one says untitled. That was the one I just made. So I want to edit it obviously and rename it. So I'm going to put seller and rename. But it will keep all of my information, and I can go back and I can be like, oh, wow, a planning sheet. Oh, it was a freebie. This was something that I made. I had, it was sent 16 times to 15 unique people. That means one person asked for it twice. 93%. So everybody but one, every single person opened it. Why did people open it? Because it's free. So what can I do right now to provide value in my real estate market? Hey guys, one of the best ways to find a great home if you're looking for a home is a new build. I don't know about your all's market, but in our market, they are getting a crap ton of concessions. They're getting design stuff. Their rates lower. Now, granted, they have to use the builder's lender. So maybe look at the fine lines on some of those fees and stuff. But at the end of the day, you're in a move-in, like you get to pick everything. So why shouldn't I create something? Hey, if you're looking to buy, but a rate or whatever is standing in your way, check out this buy, or, you know, this new home, whatever inventory that's ready. It's going to be ready, move-in ready in July. Now, I'm not going to give them all the information, right? Because I don't want them to not need me, but I might say like 2,400 square foot home, 2-story, on a 10,000 square foot lot. They're offering $10,000 in a design credit and $20,000 in concessions. I may not even tell them what area of the city it is, depending on like your market. Like out here, I could say this is in Queen Creek, because right now there's probably 30 new developments right around my house that are, they wouldn't know which one. I wouldn't want to say like this Toll Brothers community in Queen Creek, because then it narrows it down. And now if someone really doesn't want to work with an agent because maybe they've had a bad experience or they just don't think we're real valuable, they may go there without me. But I can provide any of these things. Like if I live in, I know there was a guy that was on here a minute ago, he's in Florida. Okay, hurricane season comes, like, I think it starts in like August or September, right? If you're moving to Florida and you want to know how to prepare for hurricane season, grab my free tip sheet so that way you can know the real facts from a local. Okay. If you're relocating from California to Arizona, you may be scared because every single thing in this state is trying to kill you. The scorpions, the snakes, the lizards, the cactus, everything's trying to kill you. Here's the real deal from a local. Yes, scorpions are around. They're the size of a spider. You have an exterminator, they leave your house. The big thing is shake out your shoes. Don't walk around barefoot outside. Snakes, yes, they're everywhere. Guess what? We also had them in Kentucky. People still move to Kentucky. So it's like whatever you can provide that's a freebie, this is a great tool because now you can see what people want. If you're sending it out and you notice that no one's clicking on it, no one's commenting on it, one thing is it could be, hey, this is a brand new thing that you're starting to do in your business and people don't know about it yet. But if you talk to like 10 of your girlfriends or friends or whoever and be like, hey, will you just type this on here? The more people start seeing that people are commenting, the more likely someone else is going to comment. and then just offer whatever free thing it is. It doesn't have to be a website. If you're snazzy in Canva, on Canva, when you go to share something, you can create anything into a website, or you can make it where it's a public view link. So now whatever flyer that you have, whether you've created or a vendor partner has created it for you and co-branded it, you can just download it as a public view link and then share that with them. Let me go back over here now. And if you have any questions, please stop me. All right. So I love the ManyChat. Move. Okay. The next thing that I love is ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels are my jam. I have mastered ClickFunnels and I make a ton of them. So that buyer website that you got is actually a ClickFunnel. And I know one was on your phone. Okay, so this is my ClickFunnel. If you're buying a home, here's my phone number. Here's me. Here's my information. If you're on your phone and you click this button, it calls me. If you click this button, it sends me an email. This goes to my real home website, right? So like the onereal.com. This is my buyer's guide. I have a little video on here where I just basically introduce myself. I'm like, hey guys, my name's Jackie Durbin. I've been a real estate agent for 6 years. I'm originally from Kentucky, but my family and we live in Arizona now and we absolutely love it. My husband and I run a real estate team with 23 agents. These are the areas that we serve, and this is why we're in this business. We love to give back to a community. We learned it really early on, like we are from the Bible Belt. Sorry, you don't need to go on a mission trip. Your greatest mission is to the neighbor across the street. So how can I help the people in my community feel better when they're buying or selling a home? You click this button, it goes to my Calendly website. So that way they can go ahead and schedule an appointment for a buyer consultation right now. A lot of people didn't do buyer consultations until recently because we just put them in the car. You want to go see a house? Let's go. I am ready to go. Now it's like, crap, we got to have a conversation because I got to make sure I'm going to get paid. And that is not fun. That is not a good conversation to have. It's very uncomfortable. Then I put information about me. Not so much about my business. I try to not put like in my bios, especially for buyers and sellers, I don't want to say like, oh, these are all my designations and I'm a 2 diamond, whatever. They don't know what that is. And they're not going to pick it. They're not going to pick me because I do kinds of business. Someone I feel in my mind, and anybody can tell me I'm wrong. That's fine. I have 4 children. They all tell me I'm wrong all the time. But in my mind, if I see that someone is a such and such award winner and they do all of this stuff and they sell 700 homes in their career, I feel like you're going to be too busy for me. And I'm a first-time home buyer and I'm going to have a lot of questions. So instead of talking about my business, I talk about myself personally. I'm a mom. I'm a teacher. Well, retired teacher. I retired myself. Real estate retired me. But guess what? I'm passionate about helping people. You can ask me the same question 5 times and you're going to get the same answer. And you're going to get the same face. My face is not going to change. Like, I'm not going to, really, you're asking me that again? I'm not going to do that. And I like to read a bio that really talks about the person because that's why they pick you. Then I have all of my connections. If they want to check out my business Facebook page, there you go. My Instagram, there it is. My YouTube channel, my LinkedIn. Oh, you have a question? Let's talk about it. They click on that button. It goes back to my calendar. So that way they can schedule an appointment. ClickFunnels are the easiest. I don't want to say the easiest thing to create because some people would be like, no, it's not. It's the easiest thing to duplicate because you make one and then you just duplicate it and change it up. So for example, that's my buyer one. So my seller one, don't fail me now, computer. It looks the exact same. Selling a home. Call, email. Now, this one is a home evaluation, obviously, because if they're selling a home, they may want to know what their home might be worth. I use the home evaluation link that's just from Lofty. You could use whatever you want. Client testimonials. Then I haven't uploaded my video on there. We had to change it because it all said our previous brokerage. Then I've got them to set an appointment. Click here and here's your seller guide. Click here and here's your tips for selling your home. And then this is going to be my new bio because I have to change it up because I had stuff about my old brokerage. And then I have all of the things, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all rights reserved. And then my logo for my brokerage. So you can make those for any of those. Then who doesn't love rev share and agent attraction? I know I do. So this one looks totally different. And the reason why is because my clientele is different. It's real estate agents. Okay. So this is where I'm going to talk about my production and what we do each year. So I've got my real logo, our team logo. I've got all the information. Guess what? These are all the things we do for you. Here's the other benefits. Here is when our team training schedules are. This interest form is basically just a Google form where people can fill out their information about them. So that way we know if they're a good fit with us, because we don't typically work with people who are not equally yoked with us. Like we want people who have the same mindset. Then on here, learn about Real Broker. And then right here is meet our Real Broker president. So like I picked my favorite video of Sharon and then I linked it there because I want them to see like, what does our leadership look like? And then, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and schedule a meeting. You can create ClickFunnels for anything because you make them from scratch. All right, hang on. I see comments. Yay. Okay. Thank you, Christine. That's very nice. I appreciate it. Oh, she gone. Okay. So anyhow, well, thank you, Christine, if you're watching the recording later. Let me show you what the ClickFunnel looks like though, because I know some people may be going, what the heck's a ClickFunnel? All right, let me go back. And let me go to my automations. And my sites. All right. So you'll see that these are ones that were already created. Okay. So if I want to create a ClickFunnel, why does it say there we go. Okay. I'm going to click a new funnel. So I'm going to make a funnel and it's going to say, hey, what do you want to name this? So I'm just going to say test funnel. And I say create. And it's going to say, okay, so you're going to add a step. And you're going to name the page. So you'll notice all of mine were JackieDurbin.com. And then there was a /. So all you do is you buy one domain. I bought JackieDurbin.com because it was available. And now each of mine are going to be a different thing. So I'm just going to say test funnel. You don't have to hit a path. You don't have to import anything. And you're going to create the funnel step. Once you create the funnel step, you're going to go ahead and create it from blank. And this is where it gets fun and a little frustrating at times, but it's okay. Just have a glass of wine, or if you're like me, maybe some bourbon on the rocks, and just have fun with it. Okay. So you have what are called sections, rows, and elements. Before you get started, you have to have a section. So you can make it where it's the full width. If it's wide, all of these different choices. So I'm going to click full width. Now I have a row. Or I'm sorry, now I have my section. Now I have to put rows in my section. So when I click add a row, it can be just one column, or you know how I had those where it was like, here's the buyer guide, here's the client things. That was a 2 column. So I click two, I'm gonna do 2 columns. Okay. Now I'm going to, well, that didn't, okay. There, yeah, it did. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to add an element. An element could be a headline. It could be a subheadline. It could be a paragraph. It could be a bulleted list. Even though it says bulleted list, it's not bulleted check marks. So false advertisement. It can be a click button. It could be any of these different things that you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a subheading. So now I've got my text in here. So I could say test funnel. And then right here, I'm going to go ahead and add a bulleted list. So see, false advertisement, it's a check mark. It's not that. So I'm going to say things to do in Florida.
You've gotten really quiet.
Oh, did I? Can you hear me? You're good? Okay. It may be your phone. Turn your phone volume up. So I can add anything I want in here. Now, when I go over here, and I've clicked on this element, I can go down here and I can change the background. Right now, the background is transparent. Let's say that red is the color of my team, or it's my brand color. I can change that. Didn't find the color that you want to add a custom one, that's totally fine. If you know the color code of your brand colors, you can add those in there. If you want to change how the word is, you can change the text alignment. You can grab this, so we're gonna have a little bit of a shadow, right? So that way it's kind of like a little more 3D-ish, right? You can change the weight, you can change the font. If you want a custom font, so like anything that's reel related, I use Poppins because that was what I saw on something that we had to use that. So I try to make sure that I'm like brand, like that I'm using the right things. I can change the color, I can change the padding, I can do whatever I want. So this is the first part of my funnel. Then I'm going to click this section and I'm going to add a different section. So I'm going to add another section. And now I'm going to add just a 1-column row. And on this one, I'm going to put a heading. So basically what you're doing is you're creating your website, your ClickFunnels. And now you're able to see everything. The one thing I will tell you is hit save regularly, because if not, and you exit out, it's gone. You have to save it. Then once you're finished with this, then you just add it to your domain. So let me go back. Let me go back to my automations and my sites. So you'll notice this is my agent attraction funnel for real. Right up here, I added my domain, www.jackie.durbin.com. And then my slash tag was join reel. So I didn't need to have JackieDurbin.com/join reel. I have one domain and I can add as many ClickFunnels to it as I want to. And just so you kind of know, if you go to GoDaddy.com, what's the domain you want? I'm going to type in the D team real estate 48 search. You see the cost? If you can't afford a penny, we need to have conversation. Okay. You may have the Starbucks addiction that I had that limited me from spending a little bit of money on my business, but you can grab whatever. When I typed in Jackie Durbin, it wasn't available. And so I did JackieDurbin.com to see if it was available. And it was like, yeah, no, it's not available. But I was able to get the Jackie-Durbin, which is kind of hard. I wish I was able to get the Jackie Durbin and it may not show up. It may be like, yeah, no. But those are the ways that I'm able to automate all of these things, because now it's already done. I don't have to worry about anything. If I just need to make changes, then I can go in and I can make those changes to it. So this is what automation and automating this part of my business did for me. It eliminated me having to comment on everything. Because I always felt like I had to comment or I had to like it, because then like maybe they'll get mad at me. I'm like, man, people pleaser, get over it. Okay. It gave me more ready, willing, and able buyers. So instead of me just going after, because this is one of the things that I used to do. Okay. So people always ask me, how do you get, so like, how do you get, everybody always says, oh, I get all my leads from social media. What are you selling then? Like, that's what I used to say. This is what I did. Anytime I created something, anybody who liked it, I sent them a message. Hey, I saw you liked my video. Who do you know? Because I read that book, Know Exactly What to Say. Who do you know that's thinking of buying a home in the next 6 months that maybe I could help? Or I love looking at new builds. Would you like to come with me to look at a new build? I got a buyer one time that way. It was a buyer and a seller. So I would go every Tuesday was my new build Tuesday. And so every Tuesday I would go and I would look at new builds, and a girl in the neighborhood that really wasn't even like a close friend of mine. But she liked one of my comments, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? I always do this by myself on Tuesdays. Do you want to come with me? And she was like, sure. She's like, I'm not buying a house. I was like, girl, neither am I. I just love creating content, and open houses are like, new builds are pretty. So she went, she fell in love with the house. She went, like when we walked in, I gave them my card and they were like, oh, is she a real estate agent too? And I was like, no. And they were like, well, she needs to sign in. I'm like, well, she's my client then. And so I signed her in. She called me that night and she was like, hey, I know you only do new builds on Tuesdays, but can you go over there with my husband and I tomorrow? I was like, yeah, why? I was like, you want to show him like that wallpaper that you really liked in the bathroom? And she was like, no. She's like, I want him to see that like, this is the house we need. And I was like, girl, I thought you said you didn't want to buy a house. You know, when people want to buy a house, when they find the house that they like, doesn't matter if they think it's a good time or not. And so that's what it did. I'm also providing value. I'm giving them a website. It's a ClickFunnel, but I'm giving them a website of all the information that they need. And I'm showcasing my talents. Like, look, this is what I'm doing for you. If it's sellers, you could even add a video of your past seller clients talking about how you helped them. Or, you know, like before and after pictures of the stager that you use and how they were able to really repurpose rooms to make it able to get more money on the house. But also it helps me outshine other agents in my area. In Arizona, in like the Phoenix area, there's like 70,000 real estate agents. Like it's ridiculous. Everyone is a real estate agent. And so I have to find ways that I can be different from them. You're never going to see me in a 2-piece suit. I'm never going to have the red bottom shoes. Like I'm not doing any of that stuff. Like this is how I go to a showing appointment. My hair is in a bun. I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt. But Jackie, what if it's a $2 million house? This is me. I'm not going to pretend to be anybody else. Like I'm not the fancy girl. That's just not me. And if that's what you need, then I'm not your right real estate agent. You need somebody different, and that's okay. I know lots of those wonderful, amazing women, and I can set you up with someone who's going to do a great job. I'm noticeable, but the most thing was it gave me back my ability to be with my family. So I hope that was helpful. So now what? You can go to YouTube just like I did, and you can learn every single one of these systems. You can purchase a ClickFunnels account. I don't know the cost of it. I got mine through another real estate agent. Her name's Krista Mayshore. So I'm on her platform, and that's how I create it. And then you just start building. That's it. For ManyChat, it's even easier. You just go to ManyChat.com, create an account, add and link your Instagram to it, and just get going. Or you can purchase your domain on GoDaddy.com. You can give me access and I can build the entire thing for you because I already have them. And then you just tell me like, hey, I want to change this tag to this. This is my calendar. So if you're like, yeah, Jackie, I want you to do this all for me, create all of it. I would love that. Scan the QR code, go to my calendar, pick a time that's best for you, and then we can work together. But yeah, but I hope this showed you kind of, I wanted to go through each of the steps so that way you knew how to use ManyChat. I just didn't want to show you how it works. I wanted to show you how to make it work. I'm going to upload this video on my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. It's Jackie Durbin. I think it's like Jackie Durbin AZ. But I'll have this video on there. So if you want to go back to it, or if you want to show it to anybody else, if you're like, oh, wow, I have a teenager who's amazing at computers, show this to them. I guarantee you they'll figure it out very quickly. So, but that's all. All right, guys. Well, I hope you all have